New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from Nick of Time Show. Here, give you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And it's time to talk about a Knicks loss, man. The Knicks, we lost, man. We lost to the Atlanta Hawks 111 to 117. No Julius Randle today, so we were led by the guy who was going to be the leader of the team sooner or later, R.J. Barrett, who finishes with 30 points, 13 rebounds, and 2 steals. Evan Fournier chips in with 11. Alec Burks chips in with 21 points. Obi Toppin gives you 10. Emmanuel quickly gives you 17. But the Knicks once again cannot convert in the fourth quarter. Outscored in the fourth quarter, 30-22. The Knicks were up 10 points with 8:25 to go, and the Hawks close the game on a 28-12 run, and the Knicks lose to the Hawks. We are going to talk about it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly without Julius Randle. But you know what it is, man. Before we get into the details of the game, let me first introduce my guy. First is my man from the YouTube channel across the street. I call him the Raw Metaphor. It is the Raw Hebrew Remnant. What's going on, Raw?
What's up, Jay Ellis? My goodness, man. Well, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, man, we're going to talk about it. And also, you already know what this is. It's the man, the myth, the legend, the guy with the stats and the facts.
Ryan G's in the building, and we're about to talk about Thibs' unimaginative ass.
Shout out to Ryan. He's cursing in the first few minutes, making sure our YouTube rating goes down. Thanks, Ryan. But Brian is pissed today, as you can tell. Shout out to everybody rocking with the KOT show. If you like this show so far, please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button, and comment below to keep the algorithm for the KOT show. All right. Shout out to people in the chat. Shout out to Troy Flat, Craig Ward.
I think Ryan was being light on that.
He was.
He had fire, but he's trying to help us out here.
He's trying to help us. He's trying to help us out.
Man.
But you know what? Ryan got that fire under him today, because last game, the last show, I was tight. The last show I was pissed. And you know, Raw came happy, low lucky. Ryan was cool. Today, Ryan came in with the fire. So I'm gonna let Ryan kick off the post game today. Ryan, let me know, man. How'd you feel? What did you see today in this game, man?
First, I want to lead off by saying, so Ian Begley just tweeted what Thibodeau talked about during his press conference. And he said, when asked if having Taj Gibson in for Obi Toppin throughout the fourth was for defensive purposes, Tom Thibodeau concurred and cited defensive rotations in his answer. He also said the Knicks wanted to do more switching against ATL in the fourth and cited rim and paint protection.
Bruh.
Okay, now.
Oh, no. He said he wanted to do more switching? Is that what he
all
said?
Right, now,
he didn't
now,
say that.
Now, let me add. He did say that.
He didn't say that.
Oh my gosh, man!
Now
Whose man is this? He wanted to do more switching.
Now let me ask y'all a question. This switching defense that Thibs basically had all game. How many points did Trae Young drop tonight?
45.
45. Again.
45.
Fourth quarter. Burks basically been getting burned all game from Trae Young. All game. Late in the fourth, IQ is on the court. IQ is a better defender than Burks. Why are you not switching IQ onto Trae Young? Why are you not being like, okay, the switching defense is not working. Let's try something different. Why not stick IQ on Trae Young and tell him to fight over the screens, do not switch? If Trae Young needs to be contained, tell Mitch, trap Trae Young off the pick, and then when IQ recovers and have Mitch recover back to Capella if he runs to the rim. Do something different. Why are you going to continue to do the same BS defense where Trae Young's been torching you all freaking game? all freaking game. Why are you going to fix that same bum defense? And then on top of that, I think the three which DeAndre Hunter hit to pretty much put the game out of reach. They double Trae Young off of Bogdanovic. Why?
And now they have to switch out Taj Gibson's ankles because.
Yeah.
he need ankle replacement surgery over there.
Oh man. Oh, rest in peace, Taj Gibson's ankles, yo. Rest in peace.
I was going to say, Young running back down the court. Sorry, yo, man. I had to do it to you.
I'm sorry, man. I had to do it. And normally I wouldn't even have to smoke for Taj. But man, I needed to laugh today. All right.
Yo, that was last game. You got last game posted. You don't have this game.
Oh my gosh. Shout out to Super Chat early. $2 Super Chat says shout out to Ken T. Good game. Hashtag fire Tibbs.
Oh.
Oh man. All right, Raw. What do you have to say about this game?
Bruh. No, look, listen, man. I'm telling you, in a presidential election, now you're going to think I'm crazy, but in the presidential election, right, every year they have a state, and that state is called a bellwether state. It's usually, they call it Ohio, the bellwether state. Why do they do that? Because whoever's presidential candidate wins Ohio, that presidential candidate usually wins the White House. There's only one state, but it's a bellwether. It's a signal, right? I'm going to tell you something. Deuce McBride is the bellwether. He's the bellwether. I was saying on Twitter, if he plays 20 minutes tonight, we'll win. He played 8 minutes. He's the bellwether. And as they started to stretch it, they had, it was 99-92. And he subs in Alec Burks. So first off, we lose the lead. Then secondly, he's yelling at Alec Burks. He calls timeout. And he's yelling at Alec Burks. And he's saying, pass the ball. And I'm thinking to myself, that's like asking a blind man to see. He's not a point guard. So Alec Burks comes back out and he starts dribbling again and turns it over. And I'm like, I don't blame Alec Burks. I'm not blaming Alec Burks. This is on Thibodeau. Then Obi Toppin, when they were playing good defense at times on Trae Young, it was because Obi was running out there, double him, and then getting back to his man. Obi was all over the place.
Yeah, Obi was
he
everywhere.
really was. And so and running the floor, hustling. And it's not that Taj doesn't do that. Taj is 30 freaking 6 old. Obi's 23, 24. So I'm like, what is the deal here? Do you want to win or don't you? But just like my man Ryan G said, this cat is unimaginative. He's a daggone Neanderthal. And you know what? I have to say, if they fire him, I understand. But the problem is this. He's assured of his job for next year. That's the problem.
I'm still bugging off the fact that he went on TV. He went in front of the media and really told them he planned to switch Taj Gibson on Trae Young. That was the plan, sir. That was the plan. I can't believe that was the act. Aren't you a defensive coach? Aren't you like the creative ice? The ice defense aren't you like?
Oh man.
When did the defensive coach become this? I just don't get it, yo. But I'll say this. There's a few things that I saw in the fourth quarter. And y'all talked about the things. You talked about Obi not being present. You talked about, you talked about Alec Burks. But I want to talk about some other things. First, R.J. Barrett, 41 points tonight, 30. He had 30 points, 13 rebounds, I'm sorry. 3 assists, 2 steals. He got to the line a hefty amount. 11 of 17, which is an amazing number for R.J. Barrett. 64% from the free throw line after shooting 80% this month. He needs to get that back up, for one. Two, I think him not having the jump shot going today hurt tremendously because when the game got tight, all they did was pack the paint. And then not only did they pack the paint, they got used to his passing lanes. So they packed the paint and then they shut off his passing lanes. So coach decided to go away from RJ Barrett towards that fourth quarter because he felt like, all right, it's been 2 times in a row that's not working. Alec Burks has the jump shot going, so let me see if we go to Alec Burks and see if he can get it going. And Alec Burks hit a few jump shots in a row, and it helped on the offensive end. But as you guys stated, on the defensive end, it hurt us tremendously because Trae Young was torching him the whole game.
Killing him.
Yeah.
Killing him.
Yeah, and I feel like IQ got a little bit tight. Because he was scorching. He came in the game. He still had a good game number-wise. 17 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 54% from the field. But when IQ, 2 or 3 from the free throw line, which is, still not IQ-like. He missed the patented floater when the game got tight.
Yeah, I was surprised at that. I thought he was going to hit that one.
Yeah. So I feel like once RJ didn't have it going, we need to kind of lean on other people to get it going. And I feel like games past started playing in the back of the Knicks' mind, and they got a little bit tight. But I still rather lose this way than losing with Randle doing post-ups and stuff like that. I'd rather lose right now with RJ trying to learn how to finish and the game getting a little bit tight. Because truth be told is I feel like we got a couple of good shots still. Instead of the RJ looks towards the end, but I still rather lose that way. And then of course on the defensive end for me, I feel like this is kind of what happens when you have like a mosh posh crew,
right,
playing defense that really haven't played long stints together. I feel like that was a big reason why the defensive collapse happened. The Mob Deep, as Ro likes to call them, when you watch them play defense, it's like seamless. It's like watching.
It's a machine, man.
Yeah,
they really are. Yeah.
It's like watching ballet, like Alvin
Yep.
Ailey, right?
It's beautiful.
Everybody knows everybody's gonna be instantly. Obi gets promoted to a starter, and all of a sudden the starter's defense looks a little bit wonky. Obi doesn't exactly know where to be with the first unit, and I feel like that threw him out of whack in the first quarter, and ultimately I feel like that kind of threw our rotations out of whack in the fourth quarter, because there's a couple of times where you just saw 2 people go to the ball and no one knew where to recover, and I feel like that helped lose the game in the fourth quarter on the defensive end. And like if we were able to play without Randle more often, I think things like that wouldn't happen.
Like from training camp?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, like from training it. But I feel like that plus the free throws, Mitch 1 for 6, RJ Barrett 11 for 17, and just the execution in the fourth quarter on both sides of the ball all hurt us. But overall, man, the offensive game plan, I liked. For 3 quarters, I liked how the game flowed. What about you guys? For 3 quarters, I like how the game flowed.
I actually thought they did good in the fourth as well. It's just that he made the wrong substitutions at the end. I felt like that Obi should have stayed in the game in the fourth quarter.
Right.
I thought they were doing well. They had gotten a 7-point lead, and I felt like that wasn't going anywhere. And then they had Deuce out there. To me, with that unit right there, I think that was a nice flow. They had a nice flow going. But all of a sudden, he puts Burks in, and he takes out Obi, and he puts Taj in, and to me, that's when it started to fall apart. And to me, Quickly was playing good, but to me, reason Quickly was playing good is because he was playing from like the shooting guard role. He was doing good, man. I was like, dang,
he was lining him up.
So yeah, he was, and so I was like, you know what? That's because that's his natural role, man. So I don't know. This is like it's all messed up. It's all messed up, man.
Yeah. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Ryan.
Yeah, Rob pretty much said everything. Like, I really had no issue with the Knicks from the first quarter until when they got the lead in the third and early in the fourth quarter. Like, my only issue all game was the switching on Trae Young, because I felt like that wasn't working, and clearly it wasn't working, with Trae Young dropping 45. And and my thing is, like, we all know what Thibs is, pretty much, Ross said Thibs is a Neanderthal. There's no imagination to his defensive schemes or whatever the case may be. He just sticks with one thing and doesn't make any adjustments. And it's like, okay, he should have just did something different. Like, okay, you have McBride out there. Why not keep McBride in the game to guard Trae Young? Just try something different.
Just try.
Just try something different. Like, even if you want to bring up the argument that, okay, the Knicks have an outside chance of making a play-in, because I feel like that's part of the reason why Thibs is sticking to what he does. It's like, why not just try something different? Keep McBride in the game to guard Trae Young. With RJ on Trae Young. Somebody different. Don't just go with Burks on Trae Young and then do the same switching, and then on top of that, it's like, okay, you want to do the switching thing, right? Why is Taj Gibson in the game then? Obi is younger.
Which is wild.
Yeah, exactly. So
I mean,
you got Obi, right? Obi's younger. He's quicker.
Ryan G is completely on point, and just like this, like, you are coming into the game, you're 30 and 41. You have to change something, right? I mean, it's not working. Whatever you're doing is not working. So it just makes sense, like you said. I mean, why go with what you always do when we've been losing most of our games?
Yeah, it's funny because he coaches out of fear, because because the Knicks were up 34-30 after the first quarter. The bench comes in, right? So the bench comes in, and the bench is, the mob deep. We got IQ, we got McBride, we got Sims, we got Grimes. And was Obi in there? I wasn't sure if Obi was in there.
Yeah, Obi was in there. They were doing work.
Yeah, Obi was in there.
They were doing work. That crew was doing work.
Pushed the lead to 12. They pushed the lead to 12. The second unit pushed the lead to 12. Bogdanovich comes in the game, scores 7 straight. Coach calls timeout. Takes out McBride, takes out Sims. And he panics, and then, puts most of the starters back in and leaves in IQ. And that's one of those moments of like, okay, we had a 4-point lead to start with. They cut it down to 7, but we still had a lead, and that was the team that gave you the lead in the first place. So that's one of those instances where I'm like, you know what, maybe you could have, just called a timeout to regather the troops, and then just keep going with that second unit. But again, you already know what it is with Thibs. He got a little bit scared, and but it is what it is, man. That's what Thibs is. At this point, we were almost mathematically eliminated from the play-in.
Yep.
So he might not have a choice but to play these young guys a little bit later. But
I don't know, this fool, he might cut off his nose to spite his face, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, I'm still expecting to see Burks play 35 minutes.
That's right.
I'm still expecting when Randle comes back, Randle's going to be playing 38 minutes.
That's right.
I'm not expecting anything different because he hasn't shown me that he hasn't shown me any will to change.
And tomorrow they got a game. It's a back-to-back. They play Charlotte at Charlotte tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's another big one. Like this one and the last one should be the nail in the coffin for the Knicks as far as playing the vets. But salute to BKNY. 5 super chat says off-season plan, addition by subtraction, sell the vets, pay Mitch Robinson, sell Randle, and take the rest of the team to training camp.
Hey, you know what? You ain't got no argument from me on that.
That's a solid plan. It's a solid plan, man.
That's what's up.
That's a solid plan. I'm with that right now, yo. I'm definitely with that. And I saw somebody say we need to stretch 5. Man, did you see Mo Bamba is cooking? Man, Mo Bamba cooking, man. Get that boy.
Orlando beat Golden State tonight.
Yikes. Woo. Yo, Golden State's been slipping as of late, too.
Orlando beat them tonight, man. But they've been honestly, they've been playing Wendell Carter Jr. more than Mo Bamba.
That's fine. Y'all don't value him. We will. All right?
That's what I'm saying. Like tonight, like last night, I think Wendell Carter Jr. had 35. Tonight they played. Ooh. They actually played. They played Mo Bamba 23 and a half, and they played Wendell Carter Jr. 33. Yeah, so they're more leaning toward Wendell Carter Jr. It looks like, and so that's what I'm saying. I believe Bamba's available. We could get him.
I believe so too, man. I'm with it, man. And he's looking nice right now.
I'm totally on it. If Mitch Rob walks, I'm totally on it.
I'm definitely on it. I'm definitely on it. Call up Mo Bamba. All right.
Yep.
Now let's go. First of all, if you're liking the show so far, please hit the like button, the subscribe button, and definitely comment at the end of the show. I read each and every comment every single time. I read all the comments. So thank you for everybody who comments on the show after the show. All right. And also, if you want to call in and talk to us, dial in 319-527-6241. I know we have a caller up. First, I think we got Jason. Oh, we got 4 callers up. Okay, let's run through these. First caller up, we got Jason from the Lower East Side. What's going on, Jason?
What's up, fellas?
What's going on, man?
What's up? Avenue D in the house.
You guys are more mad than I am today, man.
I'm chilling today, man. I'm not even gonna lie.
Not even that mad. I mean, like, I actually think Tibbs made an adjustment because the Knicks don't usually switch a lot. So I think that was his adjustment. And what I realized about Tibbs is that, the one adjustment that he does make, the only time he ever makes adjustments is to go to the vet.
Yeah. Yep.
So his adjustment today, the mid-game adjustment was, I'm just going to go to Taj.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
And it's funny because I want to crack on Taj because Taj came in and scored a smooth 5 points in 1 minute. And then he was like, ooh, Taj is cooking today. I'm going to play more 48 after that. So it was like, man.
Oh, my God.
This is like, but, I mean, so Taj did his thing in that second quarter anyway. But having Taj switch on Trey is still like a crazy thought to me. That's ridiculous.
Oh,
you look at a defense, wouldn't you want to probably go small so that way you have more guys that could guard on the perimeter?
Yeah, I agree.
I thought about that too. I thought if you had IQ Burks and McBride out there, I thought that would have been a better. They'd be small but quick, and they'd still have some defense.
Yeah, I guess I should give him credit for not having Evan out there because he was a turnstile on defense all night. So I mean, I guess I should give him some credit. I guess
that unit they had out there with Grimes, it was Grimes, Deuce. What was it? Grimes, Deuce, Obi, Quick. Who was it? Was it Mitch Brown? No, it was Sims. It was Sims.
I was out there with that group.
Sims was out there. That crew was rolling, man.
No, I think Taj was out there with. I don't think Obi played in the fourth quarter at all.
He didn't.
No, he didn't.
He didn't.
No.
It was Taj. I don't know if it was Mitch or Sims. And then those 3.
No, yeah, it was just.
But
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like another thing. You were talking about. Ryan was saying how why do you have Burks on Trey? The other thing that does is it means that IQ has to guard Bogey.
Yep.
And so what happens? He takes him and uses his height, and why? It makes no I don't think he really thinks that he thinks Burks is our second best perimeter defender.
I know.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's
No,
crazy.
you're absolutely right. Because
He does.
As good as defense as IQ is playing, but Bogey doesn't really have to do anything to shoot right over him. So it's kind of like a weird decision in the first place.
IQ, he's better at guarding quick guys. So he's better at guarding Trey Young than Burks is, and Burks will be better at guarding Bogdanovich. I mean, that's common knowledge.
You know what it is?
That's the whole point I was trying to make. Because I'm like, if you're gonna be out there with that exact lineup, why don't you have IQ on Trey instead and then move Burks about? That's exactly the point I was trying to make.
That's exactly what Brian Ryan was saying, and that's true. That's the point.
You know what Tibbs was trying to do, but he messed up. Like Tibbs, because in the first quarter, right, you already saw it. Tibbs was hunting Trey Young. Anybody who was on Trey, he wanted to go to. So when Trey was on Burks was ISOing him. When Trey was on RJ was ISOing him. And he even tried it with Quick as well. So I feel like maybe he thought he can wear Trey out by keep going that direction in the fourth quarter. But, it doesn't work when IQ is in the game because then you, like you said, it kind of messes up on the defensive end and messes up a little bit of the defensive
Not only
balance.
that, you don't think other teams have tried that? You don't think he has seen that 100,000 times already? Come on, man. This guy.
No, but actually, but Raw, that's literally the biggest weakness that the Hawks have. You look at talk to any Hawks fan, they are like, I don't know if we can win with Trey Young because he's that bad defensive.
They're actually saying that in Atlanta? They say
that? Defensive players in the top NBA. He might be the worst.
Yeah, he's
Wow,
he's towards the bottom for sure. It's a solid plan, but it depends on your lineup. And that's the adjustments that Tip has to make. Like once you have IQ in the lineup to finish, you can't go to that plan anymore.
And not only that, I just think Trey Young is too good. Like he gets rid of the basketball, man. He doesn't turn it over. He gets rid of it, and then it gets to a DeAndre Hunter. It gets to a Bogdanovich. That's what I'm saying. He gets rid of the ball, so it's hard to guard him.
No, we were talking about on offense. When Trae Young's playing defense, targeting him. That's what we're talking about.
Right. Yeah, no, you're right. No, but he is weak. But I'm just saying. But I mean, okay. So if you attack him, right? You attack him when he's on defense. What happened when they tried that strategy today?
I mean,
well, in the first half it worked. In the second half, kind of worked, but then Burks, I don't know. I had to look back because I don't remember if he was always guarding Burks when Burks was trying to do all that stuff or someone
exactly.
else.
Yeah,
because they were down. They were down in the first half by what? They were down by what? They were down by 6, 8. What were they down by? Yeah. They were down by 8 in the first half.
The Knicks were down by, I think, 6 in the first half. That first quarter, we scored like 34 points. So it worked in the first quarter. I do believe when Burks was going off in that fourth quarter for that little stretch, I do believe that he was on that Trae was on him, but it just didn't work for the entire quarter, and then it pretty much caught up to us.
Did Trae guard quickly? I don't remember who Trae was guarding at the end. I have to watch it back because I don't remember.
I feel like he might have guarded quickly later on, I think.
Yeah, was he guarding quickly? Oh, you know what? Well, Trae Young was guarding. He was guarding quickly.
Yeah, but
they were playing like a zone. Actually, one time when RJ turned the ball over, it was obvious they were playing a 3-2 zone, and I was like, what are you doing? And he tried to go 1-on-1. He got stripped. And I was like, you got to recognize that's a zone, man. That's a zone right there. You can't do that. I think they did that to protect Trae Young, too. They were playing a disguised zone for time during tonight.
What you got to do when you're playing the Hawks, man. But thanks, Jason, for calling in. I want to get to these other callers. But also, Jason, thank you for – unless you have another question.
No, I was just going to say, I can't stand the media. Like, does the media not realize that the Knicks are a bad team this year? Like, they're like talking like – oh my God! How's Trae Young handling the pressure? I'm like, how many players have had career highs against the Knicks this year?
Yeah, I couldn't stand
Calm down. He's playing against one of the best teams in the league.
And at least Trae Young's an all-star. We've had no names drop 30 and 40 on us this year.
Yeah, like, that's fact. The Garden again. I'm like, handle the Garden. Look at how everybody else is handled playing at the Garden.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. The video was a little bit overhyped for me. I wish I never actually watched that halftime show, but it is what it is. I can't get those.
I never. When TNT, I never watch it. I turn off the music. I put my music on. I turn off the sound. I cannot hear TNT.
Yeah, because you already know you're gonna hear some Knicks hate. It never fails.
I cannot hear TNT. I just can't. So I just turned off the mute. I turned my music on, and I went through that.
I feel you, man. All right. Yo, salute to you, Jason. Thanks for calling in. And thank you for inspiring Ken T's article. If you haven't noticed, if y'all guys don't know, Ken wrote an article about New York Knicks will fire Tom Thibodeau, and he takes jabs at me. He took a jab at me.
Who is Ken T?
Oh, Ken. Well, Ken is the writer editor for the Knick of Time right now.
Oh, okay, okay.
So he makes fun of me, and then he kind of defends his position on Tom Thibodeau. He does a pretty good job. So definitely check that out at knickoftimeshow.com and read the latest of New York Knicks will fire Tom Thibodeau. You guys will kick out of that if you want to. Right. I got ether on my own blog. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, man. Your own boy chopping your head up like that.
Yeah, man.
Oh, man. Matter of fact, you'll be able to talk to him next because he's apparently he's on the line.
Oh, let's go. Next caller up, we got our man, Ken. What's going on?
Yo, what's up, fellas? Raw, what you mean you don't know who I am, man? You been following the show? What? You only pay attention when you talk? How do you not know who I am? Come on, man. and listen, man, I ain't poking fun of you, Jay. I'm calling it the way it is. It's cool. You agreed with Jason.
Jason was making good points.
You can be cool and just be like, hey, yeah, I don't agree on your Thibodeau take. But listen, when we talked it out, right, we were in agreement, right? Because we listed out, hey, what are the top 5 reasons why the Knicks have not been successful this season. Mm-hmm. And Thibodeau wasn't the top of the list. And that was my point. But anyway, really quick, fellas, I know
Thibodeau was on the list, though. Thibodeau is on my list.
No, he was on the list, but to me, it was he was down the list, like he wasn't the number one reason. But anyway, I just want to make a quick point. I always say that, but I never do. But like one of the things I was thinking tonight, and then as I went on social media and I checked other sites and hearing you guys, I'm getting the same vibe. Like, nobody is upset we lost. Like, technically, this is a game that if we would have won, right, we would have been, our odds of getting into the play-in would have improved. And you would think normally fans would be like, man, what the hell? Randle isn't playing today. This ain't, can't believe we lost. But nobody's upset. Nobody's upset. And that tells you something. Right. And nobody's upset that Randle didn't play. No one's upset we lost because of that. No one's blaming the loss on not having Randle. So that really tells you where the fan base is with this team, and particularly with Julius Randle. And regarding Tibbs, like I talked about, I try to be open-minded, right, because it's easy for us to criticize because, like, listen, this guy knows, and all these coaches know more basketball than us, and they're there with the players every day, and they got more intel than we do on what's going on. And as fans, like I said, we play the results, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, like I live down in Miami. We follow the Heat a lot and Spoelstra. And people down here, when they were losing, they were always complaining that he made too many adjustments, right?
Right.
And then the same thing with Thibodeau. He was too loyal to his guys. So that's definitely a thing that, like, most coaches fall into that trap. So I think it's really important that, like, I liked having the Thibodeau guys here. I mean, Derrick Rose could still play. Taj could still, contribute as a role player. But, they're good for setting the culture, right? And explaining what the coach wants, how he wants things done and why, and smooth things over with the coach.
Right.
But somebody needs to put Tibbs in check when he goes overboard, like you talked about today, like your adjustment, like my man Jason, thank God I went after him so I didn't get torched. But like my man Jason said, it's like your adjustment can't be, let me just go to what I'm comfortable with, which is Taj Gibson. And we saw what happened at the end of the game, right? So that just leads me really quick into the article I wrote about Tibbs. Like, listen, we know he's going to get fired. The last thing we should be worried about as Knicks fans is firing coaches. We lead the league. That's the only thing we lead the league in is in firing coaches. Right? We're right up there with the Nets in the last 20 years of firing the most coaches.
The best is something.
Right. But like, like I wrote in the article, what Jason said is, what about next year? What are we going to do? And that's the one thing I wanted to throw back to you guys about is how do you think we should approach next year? Because honestly, like looking at the research and the politics of Leon, like unless something really unexpected happens, a coach like Tibbs is not going to get fired in his first 2 seasons unless something really egregious has happened. And the reality is last year he won Coach of the Year. The team overachieved. We could talk about why, but they did. And then this year, like I said, they were expected to be a 500 team. No one predicted they would win more than 43 games.
Mm-hmm.
And Derrick Rose, which we don't talk about, but listen, having half a really good point guard, especially the last 5 minutes of games, has made a difference. And we haven't had Derrick Rose for most of the year. So I think there's enough built-in excuses and credibility, no matter what we complain about Tibbs, for him to get another shot, especially since it's in Leon's best interest. But my point back to you guys, I want to hear from you guys is, how do you think we should approach next year? Because like I wrote in the article, I think there's really 2 approaches. It's most likely Tibbs is back. So either you bring in somebody like Atlanta did last year when they brought in Nate McMillan to be the assistant coach, to be in waiting in case, the team faltered under Lloyd Pierce. I see that would be extremely controversial if the Knicks try to do that with Tibbs, especially knowing how Tibbs is. The other option is Johnny Bryant. Do we all think that maybe Johnny Bryant would be the guy to step in next year if the team gets off to a bad start? Because I see him as the natural successor to Tibbs.
Right.
But I don't know if he's ready yet or what you guys feel. So I'm going to finish my thoughts there. I want to hear what you guys think about how we should approach the coaching situation for next year.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling, Ken. All right. First of all, I'm gonna say this, Ken. When I was naming the things that was wrong with the team, I wasn't naming things in order of importance. I was just naming things as I was thinking of it. So that might have been the confusion. That doesn't mean I don't think Tibbs is part of the reason. So I think that's where the confusion lies. Second, I do agree with the things that you wrote in the other articles. I do feel like there's things that we do have going for us, and that is like the youth movement and stuff like that. So I do agree with that, but I also agree with Jason as well. You know what I'm saying? Jason also has good points. I actually agree with both of you guys. That's why I even ended that whole conversation I'm on the fence about even firing Tibbs or keeping Tibbs. That was before the play yesterday. The thing that happened a game ago when Tibbs refused to when Tibbs checked out IQ in the fourth quarter for Alec Burks, and he's like, I wanted to get the veterans in. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of done with this guy at this point. But anyway, guys, you heard the question. What do you feel like our approach should be over the summer or moving forward, even in the offseason coming up?
Well, he just asked about the coach. That's a foregone conclusion to me. It sounds like Tibbs is back, so we don't even need to discuss anything else. If he falters in the first half of the season, it's going to be Johnny Bryant. That's why they obviously have him as associate head coach.
Right.
So he'll immediately step in. I don't think that's a big mystery or anything that we need to. That's not even something we need to be worried about. I mean, that's going to happen. So Tibbs is going to be back. If that's all he's asking about is the coach, there's nothing to discuss. It's going to be Tibbs.
Right. I agree with that. What about you, Ryan?
No, just saying that I feel like it's going to be the same. I feel like if they do fire Tibbs next season, mid-season, if the Knicks continue to falter, then I believe that it's going to be Johnny Bryant taking over. I don't think the Knicks are going to hire somebody, who can possibly be a head coach as an assistant coach under Tibbs. I don't think the Knicks are going to do that because I feel like with the new front office, they want to at least build a culture and they want some type of continuity. So I think that's why they would probably go with Johnny Bryant if they do decide to fire Tibbs in the middle of next season.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I feel like at this point, I think you have to move Randle in the offseason. Like, I feel like you got to move Randle and Burks. I think
I agree with that.
I think,
but that's what I'm saying. If he's somebody going to ask a question, the bigger question is, what direction are the Knicks going to go? What is the organization's decision in terms of where do they want to head? Because there's obviously a disconnect between what Tibbs wants and the roster. See, if Tibbs was coaching the Geritol team in L.A., they would be doing better. They'd be better because he's the type of coach that's built for them type of dudes, right? So you give him that type of team, he'd love that. But he is not built for a team with 9 players that are young players. You know what I'm saying? So there's a disconnect, and he's like a guy relying on the few vets that he has. And he gives you a couple of young guys, but you know what? He had no choice with RJ. RJ was starting from his rookie year, and that wasn't going to change, right? And he likes Mitchell Robinson, and that wasn't going to change either. So the next thing, then he decided to adopt as his grandson IQ. So he has that, but everybody else, and then Grimes just started getting burned, in December, and then he hurt himself. But to me, they got to decide if you're going to go vet, then trade these kids and get some vets. If you're not, then trade the vets and play the kids, and let's see what you got. See, everybody's got this mindset that the Knicks are ready to. I thought they would be ready to challenge in the East, but the reason I thought that is I thought Tibbs was going to play some of these kids more than he did, like other teams do, but he didn't do that, and so that hurt us. Then Kemba was done. We wasted a whole bunch of drama with Kemba, and so those things to me contributed to this. But now you got to remember we're in the year 2 of the rebuild, and we need to go like we're in year 3 of a rebuild. To me, that's the direction they need to go. Yeah. And I believe Leon's going to go that direction.
Yeah, I feel like we have to lean in a little bit more. I feel like the attitude of Julius Randle kind of put the nail in the coffin for me and a lot of Knicks fans, where it's like it's just time to move on. And then you already saw how he played today with RJ, and it's not always going to be perfect. But like the thing about RJ is like, all right, 9 times out of 10 you go to the hole. Even if you miss, even he misses, it presents an opportunity for offensive rebounds. And on nights when his jumper is going a little bit more, I feel like it might be a little bit easier to close out games. But I also feel like if we go away from Randle, we trade Randle, we see Obi a little bit more, we get him more comfortable, and then also if we get off Alec Burks, we have another guy in Cam Reddish, where we don't know where we have on him yet, but like he's another guy that he kind of flashes some potential. I was randomly looking at numbers today. I was looking at like random pick and roll numbers today, and he's like in a 90-something percentile in pick and roll scoring, which is crazy. But he's only done it in 18% of his possessions. So like there's more to explore with guys who can create their own shot in Cam Reddish and RJ Barrett. So I would probably double down on that onto next season and get Obi some minutes and just lean more into the youth movement for next season, especially considering like the fact that the Knicks took a step back doesn't bode well for free agents coming here. It doesn't bode well for Donovan Mitchell or whoever you have in your mind who wants to, make his way to New York. Like we have to keep building our young assets up at this point because we don't have enough here. So I'm going with that direction for next season if I'm Leon Rose. Anyway, yeah. Hold on. And shout out. So first of all, shout out to 102 people in the chat. There's 104 people in the chat today watching at the KOT show. Please hit the like and subscribe button, man. We're here after every game doing these post game shows. Crazy out here after a loss. All these people. But we're here. So definitely hit the like button too, because it's kind of light on the likes. So thank you for everybody who's watching. Shout out to BKNY who sends a $5 super chat. Who says, I'm okay with Mo Bamba as Mitch Rob replacement. However, I wanted to get your guys' opinion on Looney from Golden State Warriors as an option. We answered that question last time. BKNY. I don't know if you was here. Maybe you left by the time we answered the question. But we wasn't super high on Looney being here.
Nah. We could do better for a backup center.
Yeah. We could definitely
do better. Yeah, we could do better. I mean, Looney looks good because of who he's playing with.
Yeah,
right.
That too. Yeah, Golden State.
Yeah, look who he's playing with. But I don't know. I'd rather have, like I said, I'd rather have, what's that boy? Drummond. I'd rather have Drummond in my backup center. I mean, but if we're going to lose Mitch Rob, I want Mo Bamba.
Yeah, I want Mo Bamba.
I want Mo Bamba.
Eyes locked on Bamba for Matt.
Bring him on. But to me, the biggest problem with Obi, really, he is a player that needs a point guard.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
If you give him a real point guard, you're going to see a really different player. But he's a player that needs a point guard. He needs a real point guard. And so once you give him one, and somebody, I think it was Berman, it was somebody from the Post that wrote something. I don't know if you read it, where he said, like, if Leon, they said at the end of the article, they said if Leon doesn't solve the point guard problem this summer, he'll be gone quicker than Tibbs.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that happening.
Yeah, and I mean, when you think about it, though, like when you think about the Knicks throughout history, point guard has always been an issue for the Knicks. When was the last time the Knicks had a legit point guard we could look at it and be like, yeah, this is a franchise point guard? Like, when was the last time we had that on the Knicks?
Clyde.
Yeah, like I don't really see a point guard savior coming next season. To be honest with you, that's the other thing.
I don't either.
Like he's good as gone. If he's good as gone,
well,
like
you
we're gonna
don't really need a savior. You just need a legit point guard, like a legit guy, like somebody that's a real, not somebody you trying to change into a point guard. Somebody that's a real point guard.
I know.
You don't gotta have. You don't have to be all NBA. You just gotta be a legit point guard.
I feel you. I know. I was talking about the guy from Dallas as the guy. I mean, he's a solid point guard, but I feel like he's a little overhyped as like the guy. You know what I'm saying? But
he's definitely not the guy. Yeah. But he's solid. I mean, let me ask you. I don't want Jalen Brunson, but let me just put that out there. But he's better as a point guard than IQ and Burks.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying, that's what I'm saying. So I don't want to pay him $80 million. I'd have rather have tried to get Fred VanVleet for $90 million over 3 years. I would try to get him than pay Brunson $80 million. I don't.
Nah, I agree with
you. Or
Sexton.
I like Sexton.
I like Sexton too. I mean,
I love Sexton.
I've been saying I like Sexton for a while.
That's my attack dog right there from the Alabama boy.
Yeah, and I feel like Sexton might be cheap too, just the fact that he's coming off an injury, and Cleveland has Garland. Who else they have over there? Rondo. Even though I don't know if they're going to re-sign Rondo for next season, but the fact that Garland has emerged as a legit starting point guard and also a point guard at that. I feel like Sexton might be available on the cheap, maybe.
No, Sexton is available, and you know what though? I mean, for him, cheap is $80 million, but I'd still pay him.
I would, like you already know me, bro.
Pay him.
I'd pay him if you can give me over 20. If you can score over 20 points a game,
I'm trying to.
And you're that young. I feel like you'll figure out the rest of the game.
24 years old. He's 23. He's not gonna be 24
that young.
Oh my God, man! No, give me that boy. Give me Alabama over here, man.
Yeah,
Please.
with all his
Roll
flaws
Tide.
too. With his flaws, we just need Bryant.
He's not. Everybody's expecting to pick Chris Paul perfect point guard. You're not going to get that. But if we could get him, that's a real good start. I could do a lot worse than that.
Exactly. I feel you on that. Next caller up, we got our man Big Reaper, aka Silver Analytics. What's going on, Big Reaper?
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for taking my call. Man, it was actually a pretty interesting game. I liked it. Too bad Obi didn't play that much. He didn't see the fourth quarter at all, so that was kind of crazy.
Terrible.
The funny thing watching Tibbs on the sideline, he knows he's screwing up, and he's doing something he's not supposed to be doing when he folds his hand really tight.
Yeah.
And he's really stiff in the sidelines. It's almost like, it's almost like, he's getting pressure. He feels pressure. And so it's interesting to see that sometimes when he's on the sideline. Obi Toppin, at one point in the fourth quarter, he got up, I think, to kind of walk up towards near the sideline. So to get into Tom Thibodeau's view. I think maybe he did that to make sure
it's like, you forgot me.
Forget about him.
Hello.
He's the type that would do that, too.
I believe it.
I'm like, nah. Yeah, the coach didn't forget you, man. That's probably why the coach is folding his hands the way he was folding it, because, I'm not putting this kid in. I can't stand him. I'm not putting him in.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, it was pretty crazy. Man, they were hunting Burks and Evan Fournier the whole game. Both of those guys, I think they gave up probably 48% of the points.
Yeah.
Serious.
No, you're right.
No, you ain't joking, man.
It feels like it.
That's why Evan Fournier didn't see the fourth quarter. Evan Fournier did not see the fourth quarter.
It was unbelievable, man. It was crazy. But on the bright side, honestly, I gotta, RJ struggled defensively a little bit towards the end of the game. But I think he's playing in way too many minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he needs to bring back on. Yeah, because he was playing really good defense. At first, I was I wasn't sure. You know how you kind of tend to focus too much on people's mistakes, but then I kind of I went back for the stuff I do. I have to I go back and tabulate all the defensive possessions, and he actually, up until the fourth quarter, I thought he did really well. On the defensive end, him and Mitch. I mean, Mitch was a monster. And he did a really good job. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Nah, Mitch is, man, every time I see Mitch on Capella and I see that little lob play, I'm just man, I just keep thinking back how much of a difference Mitch would have made
in the playoffs.
Last season, because
Capella,
every time Mitch is with Capella does nothing. All right,
nothing at all.
Okay, Capella, cool. Capella, you swatted Obi's little shot away, but then you got dunked on by the block nest monster. All right, 2 hands.
Mitch Rob put that blood on that
was
boy.
Nasty.
I heard that toilet go.
That was nasty. Yeah.
Exactly.
Capella stats for tonight: 1-1 from the field, 2 points, 6 rebounds. That's his stats for tonight.
That's the
what
Mitch
happens
effect.
when Mitch Rob is on him. Boy.
That's the Mitch effect. Pay that man. All right.
Yeah.
Right. Pay that man.
Yeah. And it's so, and then the other thing, look at the effect of Mitch Robinson. You know how he always makes sure, especially when he's playing against guys like Capella, his production on the rebound is not always that high. But the reason why is because he's keeping Capella off the boards, off the offensive glass. And so he does, RJ had 13 rebounds today. And it's almost everybody was worried about, being able to, kind of reproduce that defensive rebound what's the name provides, Julius. But I think a lot of that defense, I think a lot of it is because he's playing right next to Mitch. Mitch basically boxes out. He always finds a body, and he just kind of makes it really easy for someone to come to swoop in and get that rebound. And RJ had 10 defensive rebounds and 13 overall. Obi had 7 rebounds overall, and he only played 23 minutes.
That's true.
So, honestly, it's I hope this is I thought it was a good sign. Yeah, they didn't win, and they need to get rid of the coach, but, it shows that they can actually survive without, I think they can survive without Julius.
Oh, they can. Especially if they start from training camp. If they start from training camp with that understanding, they would definitely be able to develop nicely.
Yeah, man, and that's a tribute to RJ Barrett. Kind of, progressing. Mitch progressing as well, and other guys kind of stepping up in the absence. So there's a path. There's a path to success without Randle. We just have to game plan for that. People have to get used to their roles and used to how to play without Randle being there, and then I think we'll be fine.
And it takes time. That's what I'm saying. But really, seriously, if you're planning that from training camp, you'll be ready. You'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
True. Yeah. Just two more things real quick. Yeah, like I agree with that. Like, I mean, like when you have Obi and Mitch on the floor with RJ, it gives RJ so much more to work with, and it's not just him trying to like get to the basket and get a bucket, because everyone else, they're not really moving. Like Obi and Mitch are the only two guys that are athletic enough, dynamic enough to move in the lane. And if RJ passes them the ball in the lane, they can actually finish over over some hands and over, basically over some bodies.
Right.
And so it's kind of crazy. The coach is not even really seeing it. Like he should be playing Obi with RJ a little more. I mean, it just gives them it gives RJ a lot to work with. And it's just but he doesn't want to see it. And funny enough, the last conversation I had with you guys a couple of days ago, Roy, you was talking about how the power forwards, basically it's obviously you really get a power forward that basically produces as much as, let's say, Randle does, right, in terms of points production.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of got me thinking what the coach is trying to do. It's almost like he thinks he's found the cheat code, right? Because he's got this power forward, because you know how he always talks about matchups. I've always said Thibodeau, he actually understands analytics a lot more than people think. He constantly talks about matchups and winning your matchups. So what he does, he looks at basically the individual matchups that you have, because he's doing sort of some of the same stuff I try to do, where how many points did someone score on Julius Randle, or how many points did Julius Randle score. And so if you kind of get enough people that win their matchups for the night, then you have a good chance of winning. But the biggest problem with Randle is his efficiency is way too low.
Right.
It's like
that's what I'm saying. He might outscore and out rebound, but if his efficiency sucks, that's nullified by his own inefficiency.
Yep.
And he's very inefficient.
Yeah. He's extremely inefficient. Yeah. And so when you look at a lot of the metrics, and for example the PIE, right? He looks pretty good on a PIE. But then when you factor in basically defensive factors into it,
mm-hmm.
he drops way off.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And it's just even if you use other metrics that's not PIE, he's really high, because a lot of the metrics are just looking at points and then basically how your share of rebounds that you get. And when you just look at those two isolated, it just his numbers look crazy sometimes. But but once you start factoring in efficiency and then defense, he just falls way off. And that's why when you look at basically his PER is basically the same as Obi Toppin. And people find it hard to believe when you kind of throw that out there. They they're saying, oh, you're cherry picking stats, but he's just really inefficient, and so it is what it is. But that's pretty much what I have, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
All right.
Hey, Reaper, man.
All right, shout out to Reaper.
Civil Analytics.
Yes, Silver Analytics.
Man.
He's
that's the real man with the stats of the
That's
facts.
the real man with the
right
stats.
there.
You're gonna have to break down PIE on a later date. All right, next caller up. We got Soulfinger. Okay, Soulfinger. Well, I haven't heard from you in a minute. Welcome back, Soulfinger.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What's going on, man?
Shout out to 3 Times Dope for the pod world. How y'all doing?
All right, doing all right.
Nah, we
man.
good.
All right. Hey, just real quick, everybody, go ahead and come in the building. Come on here and watching. Y'all gotta hit that like button, get everything up. Shout out, Nick of Time. Let's get it.
Let's go.
So, I'm not even mad about the game. I look at it. I look at the games now to see the young fellas get in.
Facts.
More or less. But first of all, the other 3 callers ahead of me were on fire, so they didn't leave a lot of meat on the bone. So I'm just trying to do what I do. and every time I had something in my head, they were like, "Oh, I was gonna say that." Talk about that. And then what Uncle Raw, what he had to say, I agree with everything you said.
Appreciate
a player like Obi definitely needs a point guard. This team needs a point guard. We haven't had truth be told, we haven't had a point guard, a relevant point guard, since Moby Dick was a sardine. This is I mean, really, if you really look at the whole situation, because even with Mitch, can you imagine Mitch with a point guard?
Yeah.
How much more that can bring his game?
Oh my God!
You know, we're talking about Obi because we know what Obi needs, and it was good to see Obi. And you had a lot of people that hate Obi and whatever. You know, Obi needs work. We have a coach that's not suited for this team. I'm not saying Thibodeau can't coach, but he's not the right fit for this team with that many young guys.
Right.
Again, if he was in L.A., that team in L.A., I guarantee told you, Tears was that night with pictures of that Lakers squad, just like with a tear in his eye, like, man, they're all over 30.
I'll tell you, that's the type of
veterans.
team he would
Yeah,
love.
you're right about that.
Team. He would love that team, man.
He would love it. I mean, because when Obi was getting in foul trouble, and he put Taj in, I was like, and Taj got his quick 5 points. I said, oh yeah, he about to ride. He about to ride.
That's exactly what I said. I was like, oh, he about to... all 48 now.
5 minutes.
That's a shame. All of us said the same thing, man. Everybody knows that. It's like,
yeah. So, and he does the thing. Tibbs is a creature of habit. He does the same thing. And then, like you said, you can tell when he makes those mistakes. Because I'm sitting over there, he's clenching his fist, and he's looking like Gargamel over there. You know, he's mad because he made this bad call. Because, you know, early in the game, early in the game, Burks was cooking. He was warming up. He was hitting shots and stuff, which was good for RJ because it was taking a lot of pressure off RJ.
Right.
And then we went away from putting pressure, making Trae Young play defense. Because they were switching, putting him in that position. Because let's be honest, fellas. Let's be honest. You know, people always talking about Obi can't play defense. I don't hear anybody talk about Evan Fournier.
Oh, we talk about Evan Fournier not playing defense all the time.
No.
We talk about this episode.
He's a French matador, man. He's a French matador.
I'm one of those. Yeah. The thing is, Evan Fournier can't stop traffic with a stop sign and a red light. He can't stop nothing, man. He's that bad.
No, he is.
He is. But Obi's still young. So he did his 4 years of college. Okay, whatever. But you can still train. You still work with him. You got to give him time along with the other guys. I think a big part of our problem is our younger guys, with the exception of his grandson and Grimes, who got in there because of the virus with Rona and injuries, got a chance to play. If Tibbs would have been inserting them earlier into the season, the miscues and everything wouldn't be as bad as they are now. Same for, like Obi. Because, people are saying this about Obi. Obi, what can you judge in 7 minutes, man?
Nothing.
Right.
I mean, 7 minutes. You can fry up a couple of bologna sandwiches in 7 minutes, man.
Right.
With all the, like that. Make you some Kool-Aid and all like that and do it within 7 minutes or whatever, man. So what it is we got the wrong coach for this team, nothing against him, and then it goes back to the front office and the miscues that they made. But he's not going anywhere, And then, you worried about, you have people, you worried about because Evan Fournier can score. Evan Fournier was shook. He hit 1 3, but he hit 5 points today, 5, maybe 7 points. He looked like he was shook because Red Velvet was giving him the business.
Yeah.
Kevin Huerter. Red Velvet was giving him the business. So
Kevin Huerter looked like an all-star against him, man.
Yeah, for real.
So that's the thing, man. We got the wrong people that in place, wrong veterans and all that. You got to make some moves. We already know Kimball's gonna be up out of here. You're gonna have to make a move with Mitch. Figure out what we're gonna do because I love when Mitch come in there because Capella talk all that noise. He talk all that jazz. But when he got baptized, when Mitch baptized him, Mitch looked at him. Mitch didn't do it. He looked at him, and Capella just had his head down, looking like, oh man.
He should have shook his finger at that. That was for Obi, man. That was for Obi. You should have shook your finger at that boy.
He said, "Bless you, man."
He should have done something. And tell him he's too small. You too little.
Exactly. You too little. Yeah, for real.
And Capella plays with point guards, man. You know what I'm saying? He's playing with a point guard.
Exactly. And that makes the difference for a cat like that.
Yep.
We need a point guard. If we're not in the offseason doing our due diligence to get one, Because you got teams with point guards out there with a plethora of point guards. But the difference is how young. If we go after, say you go after OKC because they got Trey Mann sitting over there. That's a point guard that could possibly we could use. Or you try to prop Brogdon from Indiana because this season now. I mean, after this season, he'll be tradable. You know, you can go for a trade. Or you go after a Colin Sexton. And Sexton last season he blew up Philly. He blew Philly up by himself. And he's got that dog and that thing to go. He can't play defense. He can't do this. Look, man, we're at a point in time right now where, for the most part, we're what I call PG point guard thirsty. That you know, we brought Kimberly in, he got half the kneecap, and it just wasn't working.
I feel you.
You know, we need a point guard.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Yo, thanks for calling in, Soulfinger, man. I appreciate you calling.
Oh, y'all take care, fellas.
All right.
Thank you, brother.
All right. Yeah, I saw somebody said, start IQ, bring McBride off the bench. Hey, man, that might be happening in a game or two. We'll see.
It might be. Hopefully tomorrow.
Right? It might be happening in a game or two.
Well, wait. Thank you for bringing it up, Raw, because we got more quotes from Thibs. So Thibs said tonight during the post-game conference, the position we're in, they're all must-have games, so that's it. But you're not eliminated until you're eliminated, so keep fighting. Oh, my God. So, tomorrow night against Charlotte Hornets, expect to see
the same
Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, RJ, Evan Fournier, and Alec Burks.
Bruh. Is Randle still...
Maybe not Randle. Maybe Randle's still going to be hurt. But you already know Obi's going to be in front. All I'm saying is he's going to be the same five.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Is he really hurt though? Or was it because of that incident in the Jazz game and they were like, yo, sit down for a game or so and call me ass
They
down?
They just fined him $40,000. I thought he was going to get suspended.
Yeah, they fined him $40,000, man. He deserved to be suspended for somebody's put it in the YouTube chat, conduct detrimental to the team. He deserved to be suspended for that because I was CPS he pulled. So I don't know if that was the Knicks' way of sitting him without the embarrassment. You know, your thighs hurt. Just sit down for a day. Like that that might have been what happened, but who knows? But hopefully, you know, he sits down and think about what he did tomorrow too, so he gets some more Obi Toppin minutes. I would like that.
Right. Yeah. Right.
All right. Next caller up. Let us know what you want to talk about and where you from, man. My God, JT.
What's up, fellas? Welcome back, Raw. I should have called last show. To welcome you back, you know, effectively. But hey, welcome back. Glad to have you back.
Thank you, my brother.
As always, salute to you, Jay Ellis. Definitely Atlanta. We wanted this game. I hate because you already know the fanboys online was going to be all over Trae Young. I could say some more graphic stuff, but I'm not going to because I know I can't do that to the channel. But you already know what it's going to be. I really wanted that W. But just to talk about the game, really wish Cam was healthy because Evan didn't have it, so it would have been good to see Cam get Evan minutes tonight. Yeah. Definitely a big problem I see is when we had good momentum, but then the pressure starts going, we start relying on ISO ball. Our offense becomes way too predictable. So it's like, you know, it's really frustrating to see us go out like that because we pretty much was we was looking good. We were looking good all game. Topic conversation. Obi, I feel for the kid because it is very evident that this coach does not mess with him, and he doesn't trust him. He genuinely doesn't have his trust. And I get when people say, "Oh, we don't see what we see in practice," but to me, I feel like practice is like when you hitting the bag or hitting the mitts and boxing. It's different from having somebody in front of you. So you're not going to have the same versus actually getting real reps. So hopefully Randle is nursing his injury extra, at an extensive time, so at least Obi can get some runs.
I feel you.
So that's just because you really want to see because Obi's athletic. He runs. He gets the floor. Like I definitely love seeing when him and Quick on the floor together because they can feed off of each other in that regard. But it's funny because I don't know if I'm the only one who noticed it. I feel like Obi didn't look too comfortable on the floor. Like he's still. Randle's in street clothes, but it seemed like Randle probably still had his uniform under and just And like, all right, I'm subbing in. So, so he just didn't have that. And look what happened. He didn't even play the fourth quarter. So even with that, it's really difficult to see. We just got to see as the season progresses. I'm not even gonna harp on Tibbs' rotation, because that is just who he is. It makes no sense. Because that's just, no matter what we doing screaming, this is what he wants, this is who he want to play, and how he's going to want to play the players. So that's pretty much. I'm glad to see RJ, when RJ was running the offense looked way more fluent. It was great. So I think one caller said before, or one of you guys said it, that we didn't look so hopeless without Randle, because RJ also attracts a lot of double teams, because he gets to the paint at will, and the more and more he get better at that, and I think he's a little better at dishing the ball out whenever he drops to the basket. So if they could just so that's just pretty much something good to see. So I mean, I've always we always got gunshots lined up for RJ, but it's good to see, especially that when he see him playing as the guy, especially against a team like Atlanta.
Right.
It's not like we were playing against the G League Pelicans or something. This is Atlanta. You already know the intensity. It's on TNT. It's everywhere, and he stepped up to the plate.
Yeah, all good points, man. Even though Atlanta's defense is kind of trash sometimes, but I still like to see our. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was saying, it's trash, but he didn't fold under the pressure.
He didn't fold under pressure. He did what he was supposed to do, say for the most part. But yeah, like I said in the beginning of the program, I rather lose this way, going through RJ, having him have to figure it out in the fourth quarter, having him at least attack the basket and give us more opportunities for offensive rebounds, than going ISO Randle for the whole quarter. Like, I'd rather this way. And then I just have him grow. Exactly. We've seen how he's grown so far, and he can grow some more. So I'm with that. Exactly.
So that's what I want to see too, because we all hoping Randle get a one-way ticket out of New York to wherever it is. We don't care, because it seems like it's a lot of stuff going on, but it is what it is. On that note, I'm gonna keep it quick. Salute to y'all fellas. It's always a great show. Everybody, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. You share. And I'm out. Yeah.
Shout out to my guy JT, always rocking with us, man. Oh man. This is a back-to-back night, man. We back at it tomorrow.
Yep.
Versus these Charlotte Hornets. It's gonna be me and Ryan G tomorrow. No Raw. But we
back to back though.
Yeah, back to back on our Drake stuff. So we'll be here tomorrow night talking Knicks basketball versus these Charlotte Hornets. Hopefully we get some more Obi Toppin and some less Randle and more Deuce McBride. And
give me some more Deuce, man. Give me some more Grimes and Deuce together.
Yeah,
Grimes,
man.
I want to actually see Grimes, Deuce, and Quick on the floor together again, man. That was nice.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I want to see Grimes go off, because he hasn't gone off since he came back from injury. So I want to see him, crack some double digits, get some 15, 20 points tomorrow. That'd be nice to see.
His shot is too nice. It's going to eventually fall, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But tomorrow's gonna be a test, because we got Bridges tomorrow.
Ooh,
Bridges is a monster. So
Bridges is a monster with LaMelo and all of them.
Yeah.
So no matter who we playing, Obi, he's carving up Randle, so Obi might have a tall task if Randle's not playing. But whatever, let's go, Obi.
Yeah, most definitely. And I can guarantee you, tomorrow night, I will not be pissed off, because now I will officially be checked out.
Yeah, right.
So, if I see typical rotations, I'm not going to let it upset me. I'm just going to be like, you know what? It is what it is. This is Tibbs. We know what to expect from him. I'm not gonna rise my blood pressure anymore. I'm good for the rest of the season. I'm straight.
That's right. Don't let it kill you, man. Don't let this man do that to you.
Absolutely. Yo, somebody asked, question for the forum and the KOT. Question for the forum and the KOT staff: who has a better chance of returning, Cam or Obi?
They're both going to return. They'll both be back. You can imagine any player plays really good on a contract year. So this is Cam's contract year. He gonna go off next year. They're keeping him, and Obi ain't going nowhere. Nah, they both be there.
Yeah, he just gotta be healthy.
Yeah, they both be there.
He's gotta
be healthy.
But
I think somehow when guys in the contract year, they find a way to stay healthy.
Yeah, you're right about that.
It's going to be RJ's contract year too.
It's everybody's
contract. I think they're going to sign him this summer. I think they're going to extend him, but I don't, Cam, they're gonna let him play another year, so he's gonna go off, man. He's gonna do his thing.
Yeah, that's more reason to keep that's more reason to trade Randle, so we get Obi minutes and
That's what
Cam
I'm saying.
minutes next
Now,
season.
if you ask who's more likely to be here, Randle or Obi, I'm gonna go with Obi. He's likely to stay. Randle might be gone.
Yeah, my thing is, and it's funny too because actually when it comes to the second unit, I still feel like Cam fits more in with the second unit than Obi does because of the way they use Obi. You know what I mean?
Yo,
Cam
they use
could Obi as
some 4. Cam could play some 4.
Yeah, like they use Obi as a spot up shooter. Like they use Obi as a spot up shooter. They don't really do pick and roll with him anymore.
Right.
So when Cam was in there with the second unit, he seemed to fit more seamlessly because they was using they was more using Sims as the guy to do pick and roll. So I feel like Cam actually fits in with the backup role, but better than Obi does.
I'd like to see Obi play really Randle type minutes in a team because he gets to the basket anytime else he wants. Man. He's really good like that, man. So I want to see him with a point guard playing heavy minutes. I think you'll see a different player.
I agree with you, not that I think that Obi's is a bad player. Like you said, he needs a point guard. I just feel like Cam fits. I feel like Cam fits more seamlessly, especially with Randle being here.
Oh no, I think Cam, to me, I've been saying this, Cam is number one option talent. He really is. He's number one option talent. He just needs that, if he gets treated like RJ got treated for the first 3 years, Cam would be better than RJ, I think. I think he'd be that good because he's got that kind of talent, man. He's just really a talented, basketball player.
Yeah, it's definitely possible, man. He needs. It's funny because I feel like Obi might be the safer choice if you're going with a guy who can, he's going to give you something, but I feel like Cam's ceiling is a little bit higher. I don't know
if you get rid of Randle, both of them will get a lot of time. You get rid of Randle.
You're right about
both
that.
Both those guys get a lot of time, man.
You're right about that. You're definitely right about that. All right, that is our show. It's time to wrap it up. I got work tomorrow.
Me too.
Well, all other content creators, they don't have jobs. What I do, all right?
Yeah, I know. No.
Someone
I got my day job. The day job pays the bills. This is fun.
Yep. Somebody asked me once, you, this is what you do? I was like, no. If it grows that big, then maybe. All right.
Right.
Exactly. Until that time comes where we're big enough, we need to pay bills.
Let's get 100,000 subscribers, and then JLS is full time.
Exactly. Then you know what to do. Give us 100,000 subscribers and super chats, and we good to go. I'll be as much as you want me to be.
Yeah, exactly.
You want all the graphics and stats and extra players that I'll have in here if I ain't have no.
Oh my gosh,
this is gonna be crazy. All right,
it'd be scary.
I'm doing this on my off time. Making the own graphics and whatnot. All right, man. Raw, man. Let them know where they can find you, sir.
Please, let me just put it this way. Do not look for me on Instagram. You'll be disappointed. So it's going to be Twitter, Raw Hebrew Remedy on Twitter, and Raw Hebrew Remedy on YouTube. Because I was just saying, I hardly look. I got an account, but I hardly look at it. I don't even relate to Instagram. So just look for me on YouTube and Twitter.
All right. You heard the man. Find him on YouTube and find him on Twitter. Ryan, where can they find you, sir?
You can find me on Instagram at Sir G is chillin'.
Sir G is
chillin'.
It's SIRG is CHILLIN. You can also find me on Instagram at Sir G's Corner, where I talk sports and Knicks talk. I'm on a hiatus right now because I'm kind of busy, but once the busyness dies down, I'm gonna get back to that. And you can also find me on Twitter at RyanGKOT.
All righty, then you already know, man. You get the merch, man. Get the merch at NickOfTimeShow.com/catalog. You find us on Nick of Time Show on Twitter, the Nick of Time Show on Instagram, and the Nick of Time Show on Facebook as well to read those articles. And you can listen to us in all podcast forms: SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, all that noise. You can find us all those places. Definitely check out the latest article by Ken. I'm about to read this episode. You see how bad they treat me, Ryan? You see what they're writing about me?
Oh yeah, I did read it earlier. I was like, the disrespect.
The disrespect.
The disrespect.
The disrespect. How dare you, Ken? I'ma just read y'all what Ken wrote about your boy. All right. I'ma just read y'all.
That fool, right?
Shout out to Tell Him, because our guy Tell Him calls in. He's on the. That's his little video right there. When I look for topics to write about, I think what are important storylines that are not being discussed by the media. Because what is the point of reading an independent content creator's blog if all you're going to get is the same hot takes? I agree with you, Ken. So when I went to the Knick of Time post-game show after the win against the Blazers to discuss my article, Fan Needs to Trust the Process, I was surprised to hear a caller named Jason rip into me. He was furious that I wasn't blaming Coach Thibodeau enough for the team failures. Jason even asked if the T in Ken T is short for Thibodeau, which I found hilarious. But Jason spoke for the majority of the fan base, as well as Mr. J. Ellis, who played Fournier-style defense, but I was getting torched by Jason.
Oh, man.
Bruh. Fournier-style defense getting torched by Jason. Oh, my God.
Shots fired.
That's original. That's original right there.
That was funny. That was funny. Shout out to my guy, Ken, man. I picked him for editor for a reason. He's great, man. I love the work you do, man. For sure. But definitely check out the articles on the knickoftimeshow.com and read all Ken's work and Mikey's work and everybody else who writes for the show. And shout out to Ryan G, the original blog writer for the Knick of Time show.
Oh, I need to get back to that.
Yo, get back, son. Get back in the game, bro.
I have a whole portfolio of articles I've written, and it's like hundreds of articles. It's like I haven't gotten back to it for like 2 years or so. I'm like, I was like, I really need to get back to it.
Son, come back like Jordan wearing the 4-5, man. Get in the game, son.
Word.
Get in the game. Get in the game.
Oh man. But shout out to Ken. Shout out to Mikey. Shout out to Fritz. Shout out to everybody else who's rock with the show who supports KOT. And yeah, it's Raw 2 and Roy and Ryan and the callers. Shout out to all you guys. That is our show. And as always,
shout out the Worldwide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here, all right? That is our show. We are out of here.